Head on downstairs. If you have not signed up, you will definitely not win the Bose noise canceling headphones. So you gotta sign up, make it happen. This is gonna be a great change, additive process from what we've heard so far today. So I'm gonna pass it over to Roberto. Take it away then.
Can I win those headphones?
Sure.
Hey, just making sure, right?
You got it, man.
So hey everybody, how are you guys doing today?
Very good.
Good. Actually, the correct answer to that is awesome. Yeah. So there is that. But before we do anything, it looks like everybody here does rad work. Does anybody here consider themselves a creative at all or anything like that? Anybody here do design, creative stuff, art, technology? Raise those hands up. All right, awesome. Then clap it up for yourselves because you guys are the rare few that actually make things that don't suck. There you go. Self-esteem, good. You need that if you want to succeed in YouTube. So what we're talking about today is how to break out in YouTube. Is there anybody here who's watched a YouTube video in the last 24 hours? Anybody? All right. Over here in the third row, give me an example of something you watched on YouTube in the last 24, 48 hours. You were watching something, you were watching street performers, breakdancers? Awesome. Anybody here watch a how-to video recently? You back there, gentleman with the glasses.
How to build a skateboard ramp.
How to build a skateboard ramp. Awesome. So we have two really big standouts from that right there off the bat. Somebody wanted to see something that was informative, educational, and somebody who wanted to be entertained. There's a third component of YouTube. Also, somebody wants to be inspired or motivated. So you have three core types of content. You've got education, informative stuff, which can also be fun. You've got straight up entertainment, and then you have inspiration and those aspirational things that just kind of make you feel good. One of the things you have to understand about YouTube is that it's not always about doing something completely original because, let's face it, everything is saturated, everything has already been done, right? But that's what people use as discouragement because the reality is that everyone here is unique in their approach, their execution, their personality. What it takes to be successful in any endeavor comes down to what I call the 4 C's. Creativity, consistency, context, and community. Creativity is not just about doing something that hasn't been done before. It's about doing it from the authentic place of your voice. Someone who sounds like you, looks like you, or has your life experience may not have ever done this thing or presented it in a meaningful way. Which means you have an opportunity to resonate with the 0.01% of people on the planet that you might represent, and guess what? 7 billion, that math rounds out to where that's a substantial amount of people. So you don't need to reach 1 billion, 2 billion, or even 1 million people to be successful at anything. A lot of businesses will tell you that market share isn't everything. I mean, look at Apple. Apple is not necessarily outselling almost any of their competitors in a single vertical, and yet they're the most profitable and one of the most well-known brands in the world. And as much as they'd like to tell you otherwise, they're not really cranking out everything as original or that's never been done before. That's why I still have the iPhone 6S. But with that in mind, I want to get into some granular stuff in terms of how you actually become successful in YouTube. A little background on me. I'm a creative, just like you guys. I grew up in design and advertising, photography. I did those things in the corporate world before going off on my own to be a creative entrepreneur. And when I went into YouTube to use it to help grow my business and grow my brand, I approached it doing the things that I know, the things that I care about. And I just wanted to share it with other people. It wasn't necessarily initially about establishing myself as a subject matter expert, which, by the way, I would encourage the far majority of you to use this platform in that particular way, to establish yourself as a subject matter expert. But I love Photoshop. I've loved Photoshop since I was about 16 years old. I'm 32. I've been doing it half my life. I wanted to put some tutorials out there that I thought would be helpful to another version of a 16-year-old Roberto or another version of a 22-year-old Roberto that may not have just had access to something like that before. So by trying to help somebody like me have an advantage, have something that would be fun and informative that they could learn from, I ended up building a following of like-minded people. As a result of that, they were giving me feedback. That's where community comes in. Oh, I don't know what to make. I don't know what's interesting enough. I don't know what's popular. It doesn't matter. If you're putting things out there, and people are engaging with it, and people are enjoying it, they're going to give you feedback. Not all of it will be constructive. The far majority of it may not be, hint. But on the other hand, what is constructive, what the community does love, they'll ask you for more. They will ask you if you could help them with something. They will ask you questions. They will challenge you, and you'll say, you know what, I probably could talk about this. They will give you ideas. I literally have like 5,000 video ideas sitting in a OneNote document in that computer, because over the last 3 years, people just kept asking me questions, and I copy and paste them. I'm crowdsourcing my new ideas all the time. And that's something that I encourage you guys to look at. If you want to figure out what videos you should make, think about something you care about. Think about something that someone like you would care about. Think about something that you wish you had known 10 years ago, that you know today, and think about sharing that with somebody else. Think about giving that gift. In doing that, you can think of maybe 10 or 20 different ideas of content you can make and just put out there. And as a result, that may not be what you ultimately end up doing long term, but it's a great place to start, and it's a good foundation. YouTube is archival. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Now it just actually surpassed another website to be the second most trafficked website in the world as of I think 2 months ago. And it's the largest video delivery platform in the world with about 3 million hours of video uploaded every single day. There's more content in about a month uploaded to YouTube than the entire human race generated up until about 2004, which is nuts to think about. With all that competition, you might be feeling discouraged, but here's the interesting thing. Remember what I talked about when I said creativity, doing something authentic, something uniquely you? But then I said consistency. Consistency matters. When you show up every week or when you show up every day, that matters to people, and they show up too. If you're there providing value in a more consistent way than anybody else, then by sheer presence, by sheer familiarity, you can win. But on top of that, we have context. We have the context of what's the relationship between us? Why does this matter to me specifically? I don't make videos that go viral. There are a lot of cool people who do. I have a couple of friends who do stuff like that. Every now and again, they hit it out of the park. I make videos literally for one person. And then by serendipity, maybe 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 people watch it. But that's not the intention. The intention is the context of how do I get someone to solve this one specific problem? How do I show somebody 5 tips or 5 tricks for doing something? How do I show somebody one tool in Photoshop that would help them? How do I show somebody how to use the warp stabilizer tool in editing a video so that they don't have shaky cam, because nobody liked Cloverfield. Nobody. Is there anyone here who did actually like Cloverfield? Yeah. Okay, you can leave that. But seriously, you have to think about the context of why would this matter specifically? Go for the micro. Everyone wants to get the biggest attention in the world. We're all creatives. You know what? I think most of us remember a time. Anyone here remember a time when 10 people giving a crap about what you did was a lot? Before all this social media. I think most of us here are just a little bit older, where most of us here are at least over 25. I know I'm 32. It makes me old man YouTube. It's over the hill already. With all these 20-something-year-olds that are crushing it. You need a time machine, but that's another story. My point is that if you think about the context of what you're delivering on, what the promise of the video is, you guys have heard the phrase clickbait before in websites and thumbnails and things like that. I don't believe in clickbait, but what I do believe in is I believe in curiosity. I believe that if you can do a headline and if you can do a thumbnail that makes people curious, that makes them excited about what is that, or is that for real, or I really want to know about that, or oh wow, that looks really appealing, that looks really interesting to me, let's see if it delivers. That's the trick. You have to deliver. It's okay to have a thumbnail that's very enticing or that's even slightly provocative if it delivers on the promise of a good video. If you're delivering on what the headline was, you'll never believe this, but then it's something that is truly remarkable, something truly unbelievable, something outlandish, then guess what? You delivered on your promise. There's nothing clickbait about it. You triggered curiosity and you delivered on the value. And so that's what matters. So you gotta think contextually. You gotta think about what is it that I have that's unique value that makes people curious, even if it's not 1 million people. 100 people still matter, especially if it's 100 people that are gonna pay you. For a lot of you, you guys are creative professionals. You're not here to make viral videos. What you guys want to do is you want to be subject matter experts. You want to get some content in front of people that might hire you for the next position that you want, or that you could be reviewed for an article or a magazine, or that you can go speak at a conference, or that you can be hired by new clients that discover you. I was talking to someone about real estate the other day. I said, you know, you should become essentially the tour guide. You're a real estate agent, you should become the tour guide for your town. You should go and you should interview the small businesses and the clubs in every place in your town. You should also go and you should shoot some videos of the parks, and you should talk to parents about why they love their community. And you should literally build kind of the Netflix of what this town is, and use that as a selling point for why you're an expert and why you should be hired over all the other 50 realtors in the area. Because you know the town inside out, you have the content to prove it, and you're worthwhile, and you can make this town look more interesting and exciting than anybody else, and make people want to be part of this community. You can do that with anything, whether it's real estate, whether it's travel, whether it's programming, whether it's design, whether it's photography. Creatives, in this sense, actually have it a little easier than most people, because what we do is actually interesting. We get to make things. We actually get to make things. We actually get to do rad work. 90% of people don't get to do that, right? So, with that in mind, here's some of the tactical stuff. That's a little bit of raw. Here's the tactical stuff of how you do that, how you build a community. And this is exactly what I did in July of 2013 to get to about 149,460 subscribers, I think, as of right this moment, in YouTube. So about 3 years to do that. I focused on a term that many of you are familiar with. It's called SEO, search engine optimization. Most people upload YouTube videos and they leave them there to die. It's like watching The Walking Dead. It's like, you know what? This is fodder. This is fodder. This one goes to the meat grinder. See you later. Like, that's what happens. They put their videos up there and forget about it. They leave them for dead. Search engine optimization is about remembering that, like I said earlier, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, owned by the largest search engine in the world, Google. Google is mom. So, what you have to do is you have to take the same principles that you would take for an article or anything else that you're going to publish in Google. You have to think about the context of the title, the description, the tags, what we call metadata. And you have to be triggering curiosity. The how-to category in YouTube is huge. By the way, let's get a show of hands again. Last 48 hours, anybody Google or YouTube search a how-to? Anybody? Anybody search how-to? What is? Why can't I? Get a date? Whatever. So that is important. People are looking for answers. You guys are very smart people. You do rad work. You probably have answers for the people starting at the bottom of your industry. You probably have answers for people working in your industry currently, and you probably have answers for people who are looking to hire people like you. So, by focusing on that and making headlines, how much does logo design cost? That's a really good video for getting hired as a logo designer. In fact, I hacked that. I think 2 years ago I did a video like that, and within 60 days I closed $5,000 worth of business around that video. That's not AdSense revenue, that's not affiliate marketing, that's video converting to clients in 60 days. So that kind of thing can work effectively because someone is looking for, well, how much does something cost? Or how do I hire a freelancer? Or, you know what, 5 things you need to know before you hire a web developer. Those kind of things actually matter to people, and when you can give them concise, contextual information, and when the title and the headline says that, when the description matches that and is relevant to them, and then when you're using tags, not one-word tags, but when you go long tail, when you set the tags up as the same questions or variations of the questions to the answers people are seeking, it is easier to stand out in Google and in YouTube. I've seen YouTubers with 50 subscribers rank on the same page as people with 1 million subscribers. A client of mine, she's a yoga instructor. She actually is ranking on the first page of YouTube along people who have 3 million subscribers and all her other competitors in the yoga business. She has 65, they have 1 million. She's on the same page as them, sometimes ranking above them. YouTube, from a search engine standpoint, does not care about your subscriber count. It does not care about your view count. It cares about a couple of things. It cares about the context of the information that you're presenting. You can augment that with closed captioning because that matters to a search engine, and it also means that it can serve it up more to the international community as well abroad. But then on top of that, it also cares about people actually watching your content. When I talk about creativity, consistency, context, and community, the part about community is that if you're actually serving your community of viewers, if they're actually watching your content, that watch time, that cumulative watch time is just like the Google trigger for, time on site, time on page. You know, the thing that Google really cares about, to say that a human being cares about this, why they killed link farms and all this other mumbo jumbo that like people made like huge 6 and 7 figure businesses off of in the 90s and early 2000s. Guess what we care about? We care about actually proving that human beings are engaging with content. We actually care about community. We actually care about human eyeballs. And so when you focus on things, because I know what holds people back, they're like, well, I don't have one of the 2 fancy cameras that Roberto has. I don't have a wireless microphone. I don't have, $2,000 lenses. Guess what? This thing right here is better than the camera Spike Lee had when he shot Do the Right Thing in the late 70s. This camera is already better than the camera that Star Wars, the first Star Wars, the good ones, were actually shot on. This is already better. This is already better in terms of a computer than what got us on the moon. Okay? So this is more than good enough. There have been plenty of people to get viral videos done with this, and there are plenty of business people shooting with this in their home office right now that are being successful. So this is enough. And you can also use this not only to shoot, but to edit. You can use great tools like Adobe Premiere Clip, hashtag not sponsored. You can use iMovie, you can use Cyberlink PowerDirector. There are literally like a dozen free or $5 apps to turn that thing into a production studio. And so it's never been a better time. Forget what you heard about being saturated, it's too late and you can't make it, because your version of making it is not getting 1 million subscribers. It's not becoming YouTube famous. Your version of making it and breaking out on YouTube is creating relevant content for the people that matter, whether it's the creative community that you love and support and that you want to educate about the thing that you do or the thing that you guys share, or, in my opinion, what might be a little better, the people who want to hire you and write you a really nice check. So, if that's who you're trying to reach, then I implore you to make content that matters to those people. I implore you to make it interesting, both visually and in the execution of it, and to make it contextual, make it matter to them, make it concise, make it fun and informative, because you guys do cool stuff. You do cool stuff. Don't be boring about it. Don't be afraid to break the mold, to unbutton your tie and loosen up and have fun with it and share the love and the joy of what you do, because Lord help you if you're not doing something you love and you're in this room right now. So, with that in mind, I want to go ahead and get to Q&A because I want to answer specific questions. So let's go ahead and bounce into Q&A and let's see how I'm doing on time. Because
You're good.
I'm good on time? Oh wow, I'm actually fantastic on time. We got plenty of time, so I can answer pretty much everybody's question. So let's go. Anybody have questions specifically about how you do a YouTube channel, how you grow on YouTube? What do you want in that? I'm taking all numbers. How much time do I usually spend on my videos? Great question. So my method is, and by the way, I do 7 days a week of content usually, which is insane. And I don't recommend that if you are married, have children, or want to have anything resembling a life. But in the event that you do choose to go there, well, the way I do it is, let's say I'm doing a Monday video. That's a Monday graphic design video. That's or sometimes it's part 2. So I wear my green shirt and I sit there for about an hour and a half and I shoot 5 to 8 videos back to back to back to back. So that means that the Monday videos for 1 or 2 months are done in a fraction of my day. I don't do YouTube. I make more than enough money to do YouTube full time, but I like actually running a business and I like flying to places and doing that. So I do more than just sit around and make YouTube videos every day like some people. What I choose to do is batch my stuff so that in 2 hours I can have weekly videos for 2 months in 2 hours by shooting them. I also only talk about things that I know, so I don't have to do a lot of prep, I don't have to do a lot of research. I'm just going back to the rabbit hole of, well, gee, I worked this job for like X amount of years in the corporate world. Let me talk about what sucked about it, and let me talk about how you get out of that, or let me talk about all the things that I wish somebody had only told me before I ripped all of my hair out and tried to, jump off the roof a couple of times, something like that. So I just go with what I know. As for editing, because I'm talking about what I know, a 6-minute video probably takes me 8 minutes to shoot between, scratching the beard, drinking water, coming up for air, that sort of thing. So when it comes to editing that video, I'm only cutting out a little bit. I'm only doing minor jump cuts, and I like to do some fancy things with color grading and transitions and flying text, but that's me. But I also built out a system for doing that. You don't need anything that fancy. You just don't. Jump cuts are more than enough, and so I can take a 5 to 8 minute video, I can turn that around in 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro for that, but you can use Final Cut, you can use iMovie, you can use a free program called DaVinci Resolve, you can use Windows Movie Maker, you can use Adobe Premiere Elements at 70 bucks, you can use Cyberlink, that's 100 bucks. This is affordable too. So, to wrap up your question, I can shoot 8 videos in a 1 to 2 hour block, and then to edit those is maybe 15 to 20 minutes a piece. For the average person, if they do simple editing, it's about 30 minutes. And on my YouTube channel, I actually have a tutorial if you want to use Adobe Premiere Pro or you want to get the free, I think that was free 30-day download of it. You download that trial, you can watch my free tutorial, it's like a 20-minute tutorial. And what I did was I figured out the 5 tools you really need to understand to make a basic video. And that cuts out literally 99% of everything else the program offers. It's literally, the program has maybe 600 tools and panels in it, and I broke it down to the 5 you actually need to do a video beginning to end. And so that's just a 20-minute video, and at the end of it, you can actually just make a video of your own using that. So you could go and in one day after today, if you really want to, you could go out and shoot something with your phone, and you can edit it on your desktop or laptop, and you can make a video. In fact, I would encourage and challenge any of you to do that. And if you do, tweet it at me, because that would be cool to see. So does that answer your question? Awesome. Yes?
Have you found any video length sweet spot?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. Haven't found any video length sweet spot. Okay, so video length. Common myth is that because short attention spans, we actually apparently have the attention span of a goldfish now. Wow, that's kind of feel bad. Is humanity going out, or are we just waiting for our alien overlords at this point? Because it feels that way sometimes, or the robots, whatever. Sweet spot, everyone tells you under 5 minutes, or everyone tells you try to go 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and they say that with young people that's the trend. Well, Matt Gillen over from Frederator Networks, one of the most successful YouTube channels ever. If you guys have ever seen something like 107 Facts You Didn't Know About Roger Rabbit, that's probably some his work. He did some research and he actually found that not only do longer videos perform better at YouTube overall, but more people actually watch them, so it's actually a common misconception. The reason that the myth is perpetuated is because people are using the law of averages. And everyone in here remembers, third grade math, that averages take the smallest number and the biggest number, which means anything representative of the averages is kind of a false positive when you're trying to make a data-driven decision. Meaning that if someone said, oh, the average YouTube watch time is 3 minutes, that doesn't mean make a 3-minute video, because that means that, wait a minute, if that's the average, and you make a 3-minute video, you just set yourself up at the ceiling, and if the average is that, then you can't possibly ever exceed that. You've created an artificial ceiling for yourself. I'll tell you another interesting fact, retention time. Average retention time for YouTube videos is between 20 and 30%, which means that if you wanted to get 3-minute watch time, you'd have to make a 10-minute video anyway, on average. So, the answer to how long should a YouTube video be is as long as it needs to be, in as little time as possible. Meaning be concise. Get to the point, knock them out. I'm a big fan of list videos. I'm a big fan of I did a challenge for myself. Can I do 10 tips in 5 minutes? And I actually pulled that off a couple of times. I actually like doing that series because it challenges me and then people are curious as to whether that's even possible because it averages out to 20 to 30 seconds a tip. And are the tips good? But then I just reverse engineer that, and then I get to make 10 videos going deeper on each one of those tips, so I get to just siphon more value. So, by the way, that's a hack. Use that. Write that down. Anybody else? We got another question? The 4 C's are creativity, consistency, context, and community. And again, a short recap on that. Creativity doesn't always mean original, might mean unique or authentic. So that's creativity. Consistency. Outwork your competitors. Outwork them. You might not be able to be more talented. You might not be able to be more smarter. But you know what everyone can control? Like a mentor of mine, Gary Vaynerchuk, always says this. You can always control your output of effort. You can always just outwork somebody. That's something everybody can do. So when all else fails, show up early, leave late. Context. Think about what matters to someone on a granular, micro, individual level. You try to please everybody, yet please nobody. So get very specific, get very granular, deliver on the context, build community, engage with people, ask for feedback, and mean it. Like, don't ask for feedback and then don't want to hear it. No, I don't want to hear it. Like, no, legitimately ask for feedback, ask for involvement. A little trick I like to use sometimes is I like to use question of the day. I did a travel video that I released today coming to the conference. I was like, question of the day, where have you traveled this year? And if you're planning to travel anywhere, let me know. I might want to visit. Like, question of the day. So that triggers engagement. That engagement, those comments, encourage people to watch more of your videos. That encourages them because like, oh, they care about the feedback. We're engaging. There might be a back and forth. They might share it with their friends. Because now they've got an emotional investment. They're part of something. So really focus on how you build community and be intentional about the community that you're building. Who do you want to reach? You don't want to reach everybody. You don't want to reach everybody. I'm not out there to reach tweens. 70% of my audience, 18 to 34, so that's the far majority of people here. After that, guess what? It skews older. The largest audience in YouTube is under 18. That represents 7% of my audience. I have that's my smallest vertical is young people. And do I think that what I do educationally is valuable to young people? Yes. But I'm selling learn stuff and work hard. Even for adults, I'm still like trying to punch my way to 1% of the market actually being okay with doing that. Learn stuff and work hard. The hardest thing in the world is selling. And I'm giving it away for free. So there's that. Anybody else? We got time, I think.
Yeah, got time for one more.
We got time for one more. So, lucky winner.
2 questions, actually.
All right.
Hey, 2 questions. How do you feel about scripting versus scripting your videos versus not? And then what activities have you found complement your presence on YouTube?
Brilliant questions, both of those. Okay, so as far as scripting content, that's completely an individual decision, and it's completely predicated on who you are as an individual. As you saw, beyond like technical difficulties, I just like to do stuff cold, right from here, because I can do that. I can improv, I can ad-lib. I love the chaos of Q&A. I love, like, chaos is my ladder. So, clap it up if you know that reference. But no Game of Thrones people in the audience. Wow, okay. So anyway, I thrive off of things like that. But if you need more structure, if you're a type A person, or if you're doing something that's going to be, you're trying to sell something, you might need a script. If I was going to do a product introduction for like a course or a mastermind group or a book or something like that, I'd absolutely 110% script that. It's like I'd find a teleprompter app real quickly for something like that because there's money on the line. Now, in terms of the rest of it, I can just go. And I also love doing live streaming for the same reason. So that matters. In terms of, speaking of live streaming, in terms of what you brought up, activities that can help augment your presence on YouTube, engaging with your community and actually asking them to go to other social media platforms where they can engage with you more, where you can engage with them, could absolutely be helpful. You could actually ask them to do things like, hey, show me some love on Instagram, follow me, and tag me in your stuff for something very specific. And like, I'm gonna pick a couple of you, and I'm gonna like showcase you on, a video next month or something like that. So you can issue a challenge that builds the engagement, and that can help you grow an Instagram following, but also siphons back up to your YouTube. So that can be helpful because they'll also be interacting there. Or if you want like a lot more group community, you can start a Facebook group. You can start either a public or private Facebook group for your YouTube community where they can not only engage with you, but can engage with each other and really build a true community around content because Facebook's a great platform for that. Twitter's great for distribution. Twitter's great for Q&A and real conversation and real-time conversation because you can always tweet when you're in line at the bank. You can always tweet when you're on the bus. So it's a really simple and fast way to be able to get back to people, and it's a platform that a lot of people have, and it's mobile, so it's convenient. Live streaming is another great thing because you can, get new audience traction through that, but then you also can take the time to answer direct questions from your audience in real time for them, and that can be fun, and you can get to know them a little bit better. So, those are definitely activities that can augment your YouTube channel. And embedding your YouTube videos in your blog and then putting a variation of the same title. Don't use the same exact title, but a variation. It's a great distribution thing. It's another way to get SEO out of Google, so then you can kind of loop back around and feed off each other. You could also send your YouTube videos, have that link out to an article that we did that follows up or goes deeper, or has more resources or something like that, or goes off to your free email list offering. So there's a lot of opportunity to do cross-promotion across social media and also other platforms that you control. So those are two fabulous questions. I'm glad you brought them up. Guys, I know that we didn't have a slide deck up here, but guess what? You guys actually are going to get a free gift. You get a free gift that even my email list folks haven't gotten yet. They're going to get in about 2 weeks. You get my free ebook, Breakout in YouTube, which actually is about 18 pages of content, tips, tricks, tools that I use to grow my YouTube channel to where it is today. And it's a really good foundation for you guys. And it covers a lot of what we talked about today. So that's my gift to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Roberto.
Before I forget, just remember one little thing. Create something awesome today.
Awesome. Thank you. 4:45 back here. We're going to close out the day.